What's up, YouTube? This is Too Raw for TV. As always, I want to remind you guys that if you want to donate to this channel, if you want to show love to this channel, you can do so on the link provided in the description box. Um, I just saw something, a interview that Andre Iguodala gave, where he revealed something that happened last year, not this past season, the 2018-19 season, but in the 2017-18 season, the playoffs. He said something on the Breakfast Club to Charlemagne the God that is extremely unnerving if you're a Golden State Warrior fan and just a basketball fan in general. And if what he's saying is true, and you have no reason to believe that Andre Iguodala is lying, it really puts the Golden State Warriors organization in a bad light, and it makes you wonder whether they are either. It makes you wonder whether or not the Warriors are either irresponsible as far as handling players' injuries and putting out information, or whether they're incompetent, which you can't think that, being that they're a championship organization. We're not talking about, you know what I'm saying, the Hawks here. I'm not trying to catch the Spurs against the Hawks, but, you don't expect this from the Warriors organization. But anyway, Andre Iguodala said, reading from the article, I'll put a link to this article in the description box. Andre Iguodala dropped something of a bombshell on Tuesday when he said that the Warriors knowingly, keyword, knowingly downplayed the significance of his injury when his status for the 2018 finals was in doubt, saying that Iguodala was dealing with a bone bruise. You might remember that, when in fact, Iguodala had a fractured leg. They knew that. And this is what he was saying, quote, everyone is feeding stuff in our head. When is KD coming back? Last year it happened to me. I missed the last 3 games of the Houston series. It goes to game 7. We barely get out of that series. Now they're looking at me like, when are you coming back? I had a fractured leg, but it's being put out there like he's got a bone bruise. I'm fighting with the team. I'm fighting with people. I'm fighting with the media. Then my teammates ask me every day, how you feeling? How you feeling? So the article goes on to say, so if the Warriors effectively lied about Iguodala's injury in 2018, are we to believe they told the truth about Durant in 2019? All right. So it does make you wonder about some things. Now, having said that, apparently Kevin Durant was cleared by the Warriors doctors to play, and I suppose by his own doctors. At least we assume, I guess, his own doctors, right? So there's something not quite right, though. We're still all on the outside looking in. I don't want to be accusatory, but I do wonder sometimes if doctors can be influenced by a player's, in this situation, rather better say, a patient's desire to overcome their, you know, basically what I'm saying is, I wonder if a patient, such as Kevin Durant, is showing such a desire to want to go out there and play, uh, that a doctor may knowingly or even unknowingly give a rosier than normal outcome as far as the risk involved. You know what I'm saying? Uh, I don't want to accuse anybody or a doctor of knowingly putting a patient out there who's a high risk for re-injury or worse, or a worse injury. But I did see something from a doctor or an orthopedic specialist. Let me see, what's this guy's name? Dr. Bayer. I think they gave his full name earlier in this article, but he said, since this happened, I've given this a lot of thought. Now, I preface this by saying I do not have the luxury of having examined Durant or seen any of the MRI scans or any of that stuff. So this is just kind of playing detective from afar. But you look at the evidence, I don't think this was purely a calf injury from the get-go. I think it was down lower, near what we call the muscular tendonitis junction, where the calf attaches to the Achilles. I say this for a couple of reasons. First, you can just go back and look at where Durant was icing his leg when he was off the court. It wasn't up high. The ice was wrapped low down near the Achilles. Also, if you look at how long it was taking him to recover from the initial injury, there's not as good a blood supply when you get down lower, down around the Achilles, as there is in the belly of the calf. So recovery happens at a slower pace. So that's my hypothesis. The original injury was closer to the Achilles. The Warriors likely knew this, and they made a calculated decision that the reward was worth the risk, so to speak. I'm not going to say what went into that decision or who was involved or any of that because I wasn't in the room. None of us were. But yeah, calling it a calf strain from the start and a mild one at that, I think they were trying to paint a rosy picture like he'll be back soon. This isn't that big a deal. When in fact, I think that the injury was always more serious than the Warriors let on. If that is the case, you can understand if the Warriors, if Durant, was or is angry with the Warriors, who effectively hung him out to dry, if not from a medical standpoint in misdiagnosing the original injury or simply not understanding the risk of re-injury, then certainly from a PR standpoint and not conveying the seriousness of the situation to the public. Now, I'm not still privy to everything going on. I don't know, but if Kevin Durant feels betrayed by the Warriors organization uh, to the extent where he thinks that he was misdiagnosed or misled as far as how far his how serious an injury he had, but at the same time, supposedly he had his own doctors, and I'm assuming that he was cleared from his own doctor. So I don't know. I get the sense that this just might have been a situation where he was misdiagnosed. You know, um, but this just makes Kawhi Leonard look so much better. Everybody was on Kawhi Leonard, questioning his commitment, questioning his desire to play. Skip Bayless, questioning, you know, his integrity as a person. Skip Bayless, questioning, whether he's a bad guy. He's making the Spurs organization look terrible, which they, in hindsight, deserve deservedly so. But many people don't like the fact that Kawhi Leonard, in hindsight, looks to have been correct and made the correct moves for him, Skip Bayless. So that's the best move for Kawhi Leonard. Okay, that worked for him. Only thing I just don't want is I hope that this injury does not have a lingering effect on Kevin Durant's career. Because despite the advancements in surgeries and rehabilitation when it comes to this type of injury, in sports, the Achilles injury is probably the worst one you can get. Anything dealing with your feet, pushing off, it's going to ultimately change how you play. Before I started, look, I never played organized basketball. I'm not going to sit here and make believe some fairy tale athletic uh, adventures on my part just to impress somebody. Some people, Skip Bayless. I played basketball recreationally. Okay, but one thing I do know is from having screwed up Achilles tendons. Before I had Achilles tendon issues, um, and actually, what I actually have is, and I probably even shouldn't be saying this on video, but whatever, fuck it. I have acute Achilles tendinopathy, advanced, and my Achilles tendons will never be. They're pretty much destroyed, both of them. Like as far as the condition of each one of them. But before I had that situation when I was a younger person, whenever I played defense, I was able to move very well laterally. I had very good lateral quickness. Um, that with any type of Achilles injury, it's going to be lessened significantly. Your range of motion may not, it's just not going to be the same, generally speaking. There have been exceptions, okay? But even with a guy like Dominique Wilkins, his athleticism still wasn't quite what it was after the Achilles injury. It's just that he was such an uberly athletic guy that even with that slight reduction in athleticism, he still was more athletic than 95% of the players on the court. So he was able to adjust to that. Now, Kevin Durant's game isn't really predicated on athleticism, but it still is going to change some things with him. I think with guys like Kevin Durant, it's just going to make him a little bit more grounded um, than he, has been in the past. So I still think he's going to be a great player, but I think it's just going to be a slightly different Kevin Durant. That's what I tend to think is going to happen with him. But as far as him with the Warriors organization is resigning, I don't know. I think he's going to resign with the Warriors organization. Um, I think the Warriors probably feel indebted to him now because of what he did. He pretty much sacrificed his body. He did sacrifice his body for the betterment of the team. You can't question his commitment to basketball to the team. Um, so you can't pull that shit the Spurs did with Kawhi. Okay, so in his best case scenario financially, I think he would sign with the Warriors, but it just depends on how he feels now. And as we know, Kevin Durant is a very sensitive individual. So sometimes I just can't. I can't, because he's so sensitive. Um, I can't read him. Like I guess as far as like trying to read people and their words and how they act, or I think he's probably going to re-sign with the Warriors. But then again, you never know. So tell what you guys think, man. What do you think about the Warriors organization? I think this just makes them look terrible. It makes them look like you know individuals who are willing to put anybody on the line as far as their future is concerned, their future health, and the at the expense of trying to win a championship. And in some ways, that's admirable. It's old school. Many players in the past have sacrificed their bodies, in the pursuit of a championship. But the difference is, these players, like a Kevin McHale, they knew the risk involved. They knew what was actually at stake. If Kevin Durant was somehow misdiagnosed by everybody as far as the severity of his injury, and only found out the severity of his injury afterwards, then he might feel a certain way about it, particularly an injury like this, which can be career altering. But tell me what you guys think.